Welcome to Rugby 100 Club. I'm your dude, Matt Courtwright, and I today am introducing you to a referee amongst the world, Robin Kaluzniak. Hi, Robin.
Hey, Matt.
Thank you for making time today. I appreciate your time. We've been having some technical issues, so Robin and I are learning how technology is great when it works. But
That's good.
so Robin's been reffing for 15 years now. He is 31 years old. He just had a birthday in June, the end of June, the 27th, for those that are, going to write him a little love letter. But, just to give everybody an idea of what he looks like out on the pitch, I got a little video here. Check it out, man. The guy is always running up and down these sidelines. Again, it's those hands, and it's like he's telling a story. He's making. Love it, man. Love it.
That's it. You pulled some deep cuts in that one, man. I haven't seen some of those photos in a decade. That's great.
There's a picture that I saw of you in band, dude, and I was like, I was kind of debating on it, but then I don't want to harass him too bad. This is the first time I've interviewed you.
Yeah, that would have been a good one to pull. Yeah,
it's so good. It's so good because if we all dive deep enough, we can find dirt on anybody. But speaking of such, if you'll notice, Robin does not have an Instagram. He is not a social media connoisseur, if you will. He's probably more of a social media ninja where he leaves no trace, I'm going to guess, if you do partake. How about your wife, Sarah? Is she in the mix of social media?
She does have an Instagram. You know what? I don't know exactly what it is because, again, I never use it. But hey, I'll talk to her, and if we want to plug it later, then we can do that. But she's not a person, so I don't know how much she needs the rugby.
No. I was just kind of messing with you at the same time. No. We're not going to put Sarah out there on the limb. No way. No way. No. Many players and coaches, get attention for rugby, and I don't feel like the referees do. And I've crossed paths with you many a times as we've talked about. But hey, MLR season's up and over with. What have you been up to since?
Yeah, it's been busy actually. So MLR season came to an end at the end of June. And then since then, the international window for World Rugby Test matches started right after, started at the beginning of July. So they managed to keep me busy there. I got to referee down in Brazil, of all places. The first weekend of it, I was reffing Brazil against Argentina 15, kind of a select side from Argentina. And then the next 2 weekends, I was assistant refereeing in the U.S. for USA Spain and then USA England. So yeah, certainly plenty of games still happening after that. And then I was hopefully, trying to relax and just have a good rest of the summer here, but managed to stay busy with some more rugby. I was just reffing for a week in Newfoundland for the Canada Summer Games, doing some sevens. So that was a lot of fun.
That's a lot of hustling. How is that?
It's a lot, man. They keep us busy for sure. You're always in demand as a referee. There's never enough of us, but yeah, I mean, it's some cool places to go and a lot of fun.
Isn't that a truth that you just stated? Is like there's not enough of you referees, and that's a understatement in itself. A lot of you guys just don't get the respect you deserve. You get players, coaches, and a lot of fans, to say the least, talking smack. And then you got guys like me who are like, I don't know, do you know more than they do? I mean, if you do, maybe you could get a ref card and go help them out. They do need refs.
It's true. It's so funny that I mean, it's easy to point the finger and go, hey, man, you should do it. But at the same time, pretty much all of us as referees started out as players, and everybody's had an experience where they've been frustrated with a referee. I don't care what sport, I don't care, what age, no matter what, if you've played a game, you've probably at some point been frustrated with the rules, frustrated with the referee, frustrated with how it's going, right? So some of us, I think, when we feel that frustration, just eventually go, yeah, I'll give it a try. For some people, I think it's to prove people wrong and say, oh, I could do a better job than you. And for some people, it's probably just, hey, let me give this a go. Let me see what it's actually like. I know I had that experience and then immediately started to realize this is a lot of fun. Like, yes, it's difficult for sure. And anyone who looks at it going, oh, I can never be a referee, I've certainly heard that take, and it is challenging, but it's a whole lot of fun at the same time.
I don't know. You were kind of a player. I mean, I got a couple pictures of you.
Where are you getting these from? This is incredible.
I gotta have fun with you, bud. I gotta have a little fun with you. That was Hawaii Sevens.
That's true. This was
In like
way back when I was
I
playing
think
in
it was
high school.
2012.
Yeah, I think I weighed about 100 pounds sopping wet, and
Oh
we
yeah,
played a tournament down in Hawaii. And yeah, we got knocked around. We lost more games than we won, but we had a great time.
you definitely look like you needed to eat some loco moco and take a nap, bud. Just saying.
That's true. Yeah, yeah. Get the pork roast going.
Oh man. Well, I mean, like, it kind of brought that up about us talking about refs in the nay, nay, nay all the time. And it's interesting because that's always kind of what I like to talk about with the refs. But I read up on a little bit of what you've written up about yourself, not much, but is that how you were attracted to be a ref?
Yeah, it was a balance of both. I was playing and I found a little bit of, like I said, occasional frustration with referees, and there was a little part of me that went, "Okay, I'll prove you wrong. I think I can do this better than you." But I'd say the bigger chunk of it was honestly that I was an okay player. I was not a spectacular player. I was never going on to play for my country. I was never going on to, man, I don't even know if I would have been playing top division in my own city, right? But I love the game. I just wanted to be a part of rugby one way or another. So I said, okay, I'll try the refereeing thing. It wasn't that I was going to completely change the course of my life and stop playing or anything, but I went, let's give it a try, right? As soon as I started refereeing, I figured out probably within a year, I was going, man, I think I'm a little better at this than I am at playing. And in a way, that's a good thing. In a way, it was a disappointment. I was like, oh man, I got to be a referee now instead of a player. But you pretty quickly realize refereeing opens some pretty amazing doors and it gives some cool opportunities. I'll tell you right now, I would never have been able to play in the MLR. Not a chance. I don't care how long I trained, how hard I worked at it. These are incredible athletes out there, and I just didn't have that in me. But to be able to get there as a referee allows me some opportunities that, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Have you ever counted up how many countries you've been to I should say the rugby referee side?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I hadn't until I was having a conversation with a friend, Chris Asmus, also an MLR referee.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah,
he
tall
was
Chris.
pointing
He's
out.
a tall dude.
There we go. Yeah, he was pointing it out. He said because we had found a nice little place in Newfoundland that he loved, and he said, "Man, of all the countries I've been to, this is one of my favorite bars to go visit." And he says, "How many countries have you been to?" And then I kind of had to start counting, and I was going, well, how many have I refed in now? So I think I got to 19 that I could remember off the top of my head. So
Wow.
yeah, somewhere in there, right? Like I certainly wouldn't have traveled to 19 countries, on my own dime with the
Yeah.
ability to just have some fun, right? But as soon as you're refereeing and you're able to go do it and provide a service to people and then also be able to travel on somebody else's dime, it sure makes it worthwhile.
Facts.
Right?
Have you counted up your states or territories?
Ooh, that's a good one to count for sure.
You should,
Yeah, I
honestly.
think I think I did one time. I'm guessing right now, but it was above half. I think I've probably
Yeah.
been to about 30 states or so by now.
That's just so epic. I mean,
Yeah,
where else? Where else are you going to get this kind of excitement or treatment, if you will? That's super cool. That is
definitely.
super. So, I've seen like you get controversial, as we've pointed out, not everybody gets the love. And refs, you guys don't get much love. Man, last time I saw you in Seattle, I was I was like, you made it. Look at you. No blood, no foul. Like because you guys got the snot told to you in the fans' perspective during a game than when you're in Seattle, and you know you're not the first one, you won't be the last one, unfortunately. I appreciate how thick your skin is because not everybody can handle that,
It's
and
true.
you just are smiling from earlobe to earlobe. You're like, yeah, you know, let them have their opinions.
You know, that's what it is at the end of the day. I think a lot of us, when we first start refereeing, we want to make sure everybody's happy out on the field. And if you do a really great job, oftentimes you can have the vast majority of people be pretty happy with you, right? And like I was just doing a club game back home the other day and managed to come off the field, and I'm pretty sure every player, bar maybe one, was going, "Man, that was a great game. I really enjoyed that. Thanks for refereeing." And you can definitely get those experiences quite often. I think if you never had that, or at least if I never had that, I probably wouldn't be a referee, right? If it's always going to be, fighting with people, not enjoyable, people upset, I wouldn't do it. But with that said, once we get to a professional level here, we're not going to have everybody happy all the time. You can maybe
No.
make 15 people on each side happy. That's a pretty good accomplishment, in my opinion. But now you're going to have 5,000 fans who all agree with you as well. Fans of
Yeah.
both teams agree with you as well. Like it's just not going to happen. So I think recognizing that if you want to be able to ref at a high level, if you want to be a part of these big games, you have to accept the fact that sometimes people aren't going to like you. It would sure be nice if I came off the field and everybody gave a big round of applause, but I mean, we'd be kidding ourselves. That's not going to happen every time. So instead, we just do the best that we can do, hope as many people are happy as possible. And then if they're not, we just have to accept that and move on. I'm not going to cry about it if somebody disagrees with my refereeing.
And you can't. Otherwise, you're not gonna be as polished as you are.
That's it,
That,
right?
yeah. No, that makes absolute sense. I know that you guys, you're human. Uh, Obviously, I interact with a couple of you once in a while, and I like to ask the tough questions. Maybe not real. Like my question asking is not trying to ever diminish who you are and your talent. It's more curiosity. One of the topics for you, now that I got you, would be how do you handle calls that people are thinking you're completely wrong, but you are the one that's got the ability and the brass, if you will, to call people out on doing the wrong play. It's literally your job. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I think you just have to have a lot of self belief to start. Now, self belief doesn't mean that I believe that I'm right in every single situation, because I know certainly from experience I'm not. And we make mistakes just like the players do. We make mistakes, or at least find things that we could do better in every single game, right? And we'll go through and we'll do a review. We'll self review every single game. And then we'll actually have a referee coach who does the same thing and make sure that our performance is up to a certain standard. And if there's certain things that we're going, man, I didn't know how to handle that situation. How should I do that better in the future? We're able to get that there. I know that when I'm on the field, I'm not going to have that self doubt, and I'm not going to start going, oh man, I've messed this up. I'm totally wrong here, because I've had years and years of doing this. Like I said, I've been refereeing 15 years. I'm a whole lot more experienced and more capable now than I would have been in my first few years, where sure, there's going to be many situations in each game where I go, I got that wrong. And we realize right after the fact. And you'll still see it occasionally in games that a referee gets something wrong, realizes it during the game, comes up and apologizes to a player. You know what? Hey, I missed that one, or I thought it
Yeah.
was this. Turns out it was actually this. My bad. So it definitely happens.
No, that's thank you for explaining that. I mean, you know, how do you handle like when the players or the coaches disagree with you? How do you deal with that?
Yeah. No, it's a great question. I think the number one is we essentially, it's skills that are taught to you, right? It's essentially little escalation techniques. I'm a teacher, so I always relate it to that. If you're a teacher in a classroom, or for anyone who's a parent out there, you've experienced all of this too. If you've got a kid who's misbehaving a little bit, you don't immediately go to the nuclear option, right? If there's a
Yeah.
little misbehavior that you can stop by just going, hey, come on, then that's all that we have to do, right? And we move on. So if I've got a player who disagrees with me on a field, they think the pass was forward and I don't, and they shout something, I'm just going to give them a little, hey, come on. And usually that's all that we need. We move on. It's great. If they continue and it's a bigger problem, well, then we move to the next little bit. Maybe we have a little chat. Maybe we have a little warning. If we have to, then we go to a penalty. If we have to, then it becomes a yellow card, whatever it is, right? And we climb, hopefully never having to get to those more dramatic options. Exact same thing as a teacher, right? This is what I'm doing all day. If a kid's just tapping their pencil, I'm not going to start screaming at them, right? I'll just give them a little look. I'll go stand beside them. And without even saying a word, hopefully that problem fixes itself. If a kid's doing something way worse, well, then we got to find a more, creative solution.
All of a sudden, I'm like,
yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Fun story.
Yeah.
I had these stress balls from the gift bag that was given during the Scrum Innovation right before the final championship.
Oh, beautiful.
And the reason I grabbed them is because of a story like you just described. We're interviewing Alan Clark, a.k.a. Clarky, who's the head coach of Seattle. And just like you explained, you get better with time and making mistakes. I think making mistakes is the only way we learn in all sincerity. We can think we're ready, but the reality is we're not. We got to screw up, learn from it, move on, try not to make the same mistake twice, because otherwise it's called a choice, right? So I got my buddies, they're interviewing them with me, and they're like, I'm trying not to lose my mind. Okay. So needless to say, I got them some squishy balls. I mean, these are not the squishy balls because they now possess said squishy balls, but I have these in my podcast room for this exact reason, because of the people that just need to function, fiddle with something, whatever. And it's try not to lose your bloody mind when that stuff is going on. Is just like, kudos to you, Robin, for being able to keep all the cats herded on the pitch. I think of, and I'm not going to call his name out because it's not about him today, but there was this captain for one of the teams, quite a rivalry team, if you might know, and why they picked him for a captain of all people, I will still to this day, I still want to ask the coach, like, hey, Danny Lee, WTF, okay? The guy's got like so many yellow cards and red cards, and you're like, out of all your guys, he's the highest yellow card holder, and you picked him for a captain. Do you want the ref to say everything bad against your team? I'm honest, Abe, thinking that while it's happening. Like, and the guy he's one of those chippers. So like, he'd be testing your patience. He's the kid, he's the comic, he's the jokester in the class where he's like, push the buttons, Oh, Lord, I just,
yep.
I respect what you guys do.
It's funny dealing with captains like that. I've looked into this. I've definitely done a little bit of studying going, okay, depending on the referee, obviously it'll be a little bit different, but right. You've got a certain captain that brings a certain style. Who is going to be the most effective at getting something out of a referee, right? Is it the guy who's going to be in his ear constantly? Is it going to be the one who's really pushing it, shouting at him, whatever? Is it going to be the one who's really quiet and maybe just asks one thing per game? Or, man, we'll even have captains who do absolutely nothing and just leave us alone the whole game. Like, who's likely to get sort of the most out of us, so to speak? And the guys you're describing, I don't know. Sometimes I think that's just their personality, and sometimes maybe there's a method to the madness.
I think you nailed it. Like, it's typically a personality.
Yeah.
I mean, and the method to the madness only if it's working, right?
Right.
Like, yeah. No, I'm try to put myself in your guys' shoes, and the reality is you keep your cool so much better than I would. And I typically am a pretty happy-go-lucky guy, but man, oh man, you push me into a corner, I'm going to fight back. That's all there is to it. And I just don't know how you guys don't more often.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. You and Sarah, your queen, your wife. How long you guys been together, bud? How'd you guys meet?
There we go. We met actually in university. So both of us were in music school together. We're both now music teachers. Yeah. And then we have been dating a little over 5 years. We got married just over a year ago. And yeah, like you said, my queen, love of my life. It's been a great ride together these last few years. When we got together, it was sort of right as COVID had started. And so had tons of time together and everything. Yeah, it's been great.
That's fantastic. How long have you guys been living together?
Been the last, what is it, 2.5, 3 years thereabouts. We're
Good.
painting the house at the moment. Actually, that's the big project on the go, and so yeah, it feels like a while now, but in a good way.
Yeah, that's wonderful, man. That's so good. So
Yeah,
good. Any future activities coming up? Any travel that doesn't include rugby?
nothing too much at the moment. So we're coming to the end of summer here. So both of us will be back teaching in September. She'll be back teaching full time. I'm back to kind of substitute teaching. Like I was saying earlier, between
Yeah.
MLR and teaching, they've kind of taken this 50-50 role. So I'm not committing to teaching full time like I had before. But yeah, I think this is the last of our travel for a little while. She managed to come out with me to the MLR final and got to experience Rhode Island, and we spent a little bit of time in Boston around that. So that was the best of our travel recently.
That's awesome. What'd you do in Boston? Anything exciting?
Yeah, it's great. We saw a Red Sox game, so that was awesome. Playing the Blue Jays. So, Blue Jays are my team as a Canadian, and Jays came out on top, so that was good. And the Red Sox
Ooh.
fans not so happy, but we'll take it.
Oh
And
man, you gotta give it to them, those Red Sox.
that's it, man. Well, I was actually there 2 weeks before that for a game as well, and managed to see Red Sox against the Yankees. So I got to cheer for the Sox once, and then the Jays in the next one. And man, those are some passionate fans, but you love to see it.
Whoa. That's an understatement. Speaking of such, you being on the pitch in that environment, uh, that that area is unique in itself by that exact reason.
Oh,
How,
totally.
how do you
Hey, Boston
how do you
fans, yeah,
react to that?
they're crazy. They're incredible. It's the best. I don't know what makes it happen, but it's awesome. And actually, I mean, Seattle fans, they're known for it too. Hey, you guys are some of the loudest and wildest. So yeah, you know when you're traveling into that you're gonna have a good time.
Too much fun. Too much fun. I always admire some of the hecklers that just straight up make me giggle. I just like, where do they come up with this content? I just were they practicing it, heckling at somebody down the street? I don't know, but the first time going to Quincy there at the memorial, or I think it's called Veteran Memorial or something like that.
Yep.
Man, oh man, I heard them. They all the players talk about it too. Is a funny reality. Like they're like, oh no, no, like you'll get some stank when you go there. That's just it's to be expected. They warn the newbies about it. Like get ready, bud, because like if you need to hear it, you're not gonna like it.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's true. Hey, and every time you get a new heckle, you got to enjoy it a little bit, right? Like, refing for 15 years, I've certainly heard a few that have been recycled and reused over and over. But you get the new one, you kind of do go, "Oh, that's pretty good," and you have a little smile.
Seriously. Oh man, yeah, no, I love how thick your guys' skin is. I mean, it's just always fun. Always fun.
Yeah.
I would like to in the future, if you're keen, you don't have to commit yet, but just to drop the seed in your ear and ask maybe a buddy of yours like Chris or something. I would love with your direction as well. Like I think there's some laws in rugby that could be addressed and educate the people, including players and coaches, um, about what is expected and how you would describe this law and how to keep from breaking said law or what's common. Like a question for me to you is what advice would you give someone that keeps on belly aching over like the same law that keeps on being broken, if you will.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Happy to go into that kind of thing. Obviously, I don't know. I won't focus on a specific law or anything right now because these things take time, but we do that all the time. You
Okay.
mentioned Chris, his job is actually with BC Rugby, educating people and educating referees. I do a similar thing where I live here in Edmonton, essentially, helping coach, helping teach other referees about that. It could be as simple as new laws when they come out, when there are changes, how we want to apply that. But then we'll get a whole lot deeper than that as well of, okay, scrum time, for example, what's our best approach? What do we do if the scrum is repeatedly collapsing? How do we handle these things?
Right.
And yeah, it makes all of us a whole lot better. And it's not like I'm the expert on all of these things and teaching everybody else. We'll share with each other. We'll learn from each
Right.
other's experiences. So if people obviously know that teams practice and get coached, I don't know if they're always aware that referees do the same. We'll go to each other's games, we'll coach each other, and we'll teach each other about things as much as possible.
I don't think people understand that. I don't think people know that. I don't think uh, it's even an idea in their heads. I only know because I cuss and discuss with Luke occasionally and Marquise, and I ask those questions as well as like David Pelton that's out here in Northwest. You watch a game like an international game with a group of you referees, and I'm the character that's like, all right, we've paused it, we've reviewed this play 5 times now, if not more, and I'm like, can we go back to watching the game, guys?
It's true, hey? Yeah.
It's fun
It,
though. It's fun.
It is, it's funny because you look at a club level where there's no replay, there's no TMO use. It's trust the referee, get on with the game. People
Yeah.
generally, I think, like that. They'll be frustrated when a referee gets something wrong. And I mean, that's just how it is. But the game keeps flowing and we can enjoy that. As soon as you get to that slightly higher level each time, people will tell you, well, we want the game to keep flowing. Everybody wants the game to keep flowing, of course. But then as soon as a team has it go against them, then that's the whoa, slow it down. We need to make sure we get things right. So, it's not just an MLR thing. It's and it's not just a rugby thing. It's across every sport in the world.
Yeah.
As we get to a higher level, we seem to put more emphasis on get it right. And then that takes away kind of the speed in the game. Ideally, I would love to see a situation in which we can referee quickly. Everyone's going to trust the ref's decision and we just roll on from there. Way better spectator experience. Everyone will enjoy it a lot more. However, that means we have to accept things being wrong sometimes. And I think that's challenging for a lot of us.
It's challenging for everybody, especially the massive competitors. I mean,
Yeah,
and then there's some of those
right?
personalities that just find problems with everything too. So like some people just simply aren't going to be satisfied no matter if you gave them all the penalties their direction, they'd still bellyache about something. You know what I mean? So what do you do? But I would love, like, especially in MLR, on how the MLR tends to have new rules or new laws started with us to see if they work out well. And as we've watched World Rugby adopts them. And, current between the uprights and putting it down between the uprights. That was one that was guinea pig with MLR. One again, I would point out would be the 2 resets for the scrum that,
Yep.
not everybody agrees with, but it's keeping the movement going from people falling asleep watching the game,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd rather have that with the scrum, or excuse me, with the scrum, than not having a scrum. So,
Oh, yeah.
you
Oh,
got to
without a
take
doubt. I mean, yeah, we we need the scrum in rugby, right? That's kind of
yeah,
what makes rugby union what it is, right? Is the scrum, is the line out, it is the things that make our sport unique. So nobody, I think, who's a true rugby fan would ever say, "Oh, let's get rid of that," right? That's crazy. But
no,
like everything, there's always a balance there. I don't think anybody enjoys watching countless scrum resets, even the biggest scrum aficionados in the world, right? And then there's a part of you, I know I've heard this take from people is like, leave the laws alone. It's good enough. We love the sport. Don't touch it. And then there's the other people that say, no, man, we have to keep experimenting. We have to keep changing things to make things better. And so I think it's cool that MLR takes on the chance to do a few law variations here and there. We're not picking wild things that we immediately
no,
go, oh man, we regret this, right? It's some little tweaks to the game to try to make it better. And then, like you say, occasionally World Rugby has seen this and gone, yeah, we should be doing that too, right? Another example being the scrum half offside at the scrum, right? The defensive scrum
Yeah.
half not being allowed to go past the tunnel. MLR had applied that for years, and then World Rugby kind of went, yeah, I think that's a really positive change. That's now full law for everybody.
Yeah, it's fun to watch the evolution of it, in all
Yeah,
sincerity. What's the
exactly.
most common mistake players make that end up in a penalty?
Oh man, common ones. Probably, the breakdown is the biggest area of contest in the game, right?
Okay.
All across the game, we have chances to contest for possession. There's been times where, I mean, you look back in the '90s, the lineup was the big mess. Before lifting had come in, people are just jumping and grabbing at each other, and then that seems to have kind of fixed itself. If you look back probably about 10 years ago, the scrum just constant collapses. For anybody who says, oh man, scrums are a disaster, go watch some older rugby, right? I think the scrum is actually in quite a good place these days compared to where it was before. Things like crouch bind set as opposed to the crouch touch pause engage or crouch touch set or whatever that we used to use. That's made it a whole lot better. And just the way that we referee things, I think, has gone in the right direction. The breakdown is definitely that huge point of contest at the moment where if you've got a team that dominates the breakdown, I think they'll win the game most of the time. So that's probably where most of the penalties are coming from. Whether that's just an accuracy thing, like a jackler, a player trying
Yeah.
to win the ball, trying to win it before their own tackler has rolled away. I think that's a really, really common one that'll happen. We're obviously looking for that tackler to roll away first before really anything else can happen at the breakdown. And then, yeah, I mean, if a jackler is successful, most teams these days won't actually release the ball. The law says, okay, if somebody's trying to take the ball from you and they're legal, you have to release it to them. Most teams will just hang on to it, hoping that their team will get there in time for the cleanout. So then if their team doesn't get there in time, we end up with a holding on penalty. Those are probably the most common ones that you see. Whether you'd call that a mistake or whether you'd call that maybe a team mistake, just getting too isolated, yeah, could be one or the other.
In my head, I'm picturing somebody making a breakaway, and their team's not there to support them because everybody's been tied up doing something else, and exactly that. And they're like, nope, I'm going to hold on to this thing. I'm going to take the penalty because we just moved the whole team, both teams, down the pitch in the direction. Like let them like take the penalty.
That's it. Hey, well, and the game has
Yeah.
changed so much in terms of players being able to contest like that, being able to jackal that. Man, back again, probably 15 to 20 years ago, George Smith was the only one doing it. Essentially, invented the technique. Then it was kind of a thing for all the flankers of the world, all the back rows. Okay, we'll learn how to jackal. Now, man, 1 to 15, you better be able to do that because if a player's isolated, that's your job. You got to win that turnover. And so fullbacks these days can be incredible. One-on-one tackle, chop them down, hop back up, win that ball. They're amazing at it.
Yeah, some of the speed is incredible, actually. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah, and you nailed it. Like it does tend to be your back row, your 6, 7, 8, that are constantly challenging that jackal. If it's a personality on that team, it's going to be one of those guys because I've just been watching, paying attention a little bit, the last handful of years, and boy, they're the ones that come off the pitch too, just like blood gushing down their nose. I mean, all the time, all the time.
Totally. Hey, massive respect for those guys. Like,
Right?
that's where you put, I think, kind of your best athletes that you just want to cause chaos. Not to, not throwing any shade at any other
No.
positions here, but the flanker probably doesn't have that specific role other than get out on the field, make some massive tackles, win some turnovers, cause some chaos. And so, yeah, some of those guys, amazing at it, but I don't know how they can do it week after week after week without just feeling beat.
Yeah, no, you're right, and they do feel beat. I mean, I kind of look at them as a low key assassin. I mean, especially the 7, because like they're looking for a reason to come off of that scrum and just destroy somebody. Too much fun, too much fun. How do you handle situations where the players and coaches disagree with your decisions?
Yeah. Like I was saying before, I think you have to have a bit of that self belief and you have to just back yourself in these moments. Upon review, it's always possible that we can be wrong, right? And if that's the case, then we get to hold our hand up and go, okay, my bad. That one's on me there. But during a game, nobody's going to appreciate it if a referee makes one decision and then they're kind of waffling on it, going, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong there. I'll give you the next one or whatever. Nobody's going to want that, right?
Yeah, could you imagine? No,
It'd be
no,
crazy,
not gonna
right?
happen.
You do see it on occasion that, okay, we think a ball's been knocked on and then you get a quick replay and you've seen a referee change their mind before. But if it's
Yeah,
anything sort of in the gray area, anything subjective, you just got to make that decision, and people will usually accept that and move forward as long as you're doing it in good faith to the best of your ability. And then, yeah, like I said, if we find out that we got it wrong on review and the next time we want to do it differently, well, then there's always another game next week and you get a chance to improve.
have you ever had to make that call
Make which call?
to call the coach?
Yeah, we go about it a little bit differently these days in terms of sort of the process of review and how we communicate with coaches. It goes through our referee manager, but I've absolutely been that person who's held up my hand and said, "Hey guys, I got that wrong. I'm sorry." And oftentimes it would just be after a game. Everybody comes in together, they're having a beer, and you just say, "Yeah, you know what? I think I was wrong on that scrum decision right there. My bad." Hopefully you then have a chance to watch a video and you get a little bit more of a factual answer to it.
Yeah,
And then, yeah, I've definitely seen that where I'll see another team the next week and go, yeah, sorry, my bad on that one. And the answer consistently that comes back is, yeah, okay, fair enough. We made mistakes too, right?
right, right. And anybody that doesn't have that give you that grace is like they need to look in the mirror and figure it out.
Yeah.
Honestly. So, for those that want to be a referee, what advice would you give them?
Oh, give it a go more than anything else. Like, this has been one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. We talked about the travel that has come with it. We talked about the opportunities to be involved in higher level sport. But even if you never do any of that, even if you just referee in your own hometown to have a bit of fun, it's good fitness. You get a little bit of, usually a light amount of pay, enough gas money to get there, maybe get yourself a drink after the game, something like that. And you build so much community. When I was a player, knew the people within my own club or within my own team, but that was about it. As a referee, I feel like I know every rugby person in my city, and it's generally a really positive relationship. Same deal on the MLR side. Yeah, I'm not going to know everybody perfectly, but you get to go city to city, meet the coaches, talk with the players. If you're around for enough years, get to know, a few more people, get to meet guys like you who are involved in the rugby community in all kinds of different ways. Absolutely love it, right? Like being a referee, it's this cool sort of, I don't know, neutral area where in a way you're almost needed everywhere. You're almost welcome everywhere if you're doing a decent job at it.
Yeah, do you have a favorite stadium or location that you've been to, or a couple maybe, or worse?
um Man, yeah, it's tough to say. As far as MLR places to go, it's teams in a lot of really great cities, right? I absolutely love traveling to Seattle, and the reason that one comes to my mind first is geographically that's closest. I have a direct flight there, so I've ended up there pretty often. Whereas most of the other places I go, I actually end up having to transfer and take two flights to get there. But man, with LA and San Diego, you can't get weather much better than that. Oh, Utah is sure cool
Yeah.
with, yeah, right. I was there for that semifinal earlier this year, and just with the mountains in the background and the passionate fans, like what a cool place that is. So that's certainly got to be on the list. Hard to leave others out. We already mentioned Quincy earlier today. Uh, Toronto Arrows and New York Ironworkers. We missed both those teams, and those were both good places to travel as well. And yeah, I don't know. I could just keep naming them, I think.
No, I mean, I'm not. I'm gonna say like Hoboken was a rough one in New Jersey. There, that one, 2022. Oh man, that was a tough one because there were so many lines on that pitch. I don't know how anybody was able to consistently focus on what was the game lines and what was other lines. And I say that with absolute sincerity because man, I remember Duncan Matthews. He thought he was in the goal, and he touched, down, and he was actually on the 5 and just got leveled. I don't know if you ever got to review that. That one was made the highlight reels for weeks. And it was the same game that also the uprights fell over. So that
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that was a tough one.
it was awesome. It was awesome, but like the character of that place in itself was just a blast. And like it's not always like it's a pie hole, like it's not a good spot or anything, but like sometimes it's the stories later that I pull away from these situations are like, yeah, I'd go back.
Yeah.
It was kind of a rough experience, but I'd go back.
It's funny to look back at those things, hey, that like MLR has been a professional league since it started up, but you look back at the first few years and then you compare it to now, there's clearly a massive change there. And I think it went from kind of being the Wild West a little bit, let's figure it out. Hey, you got a field? Okay, we'll play at it, to now you wouldn't see that, right? You're not going to see the
Right.
posts falling down unless I'm jinxing it right now and we have some crazy disaster next year. I don't see that coming. But
I hope you did. I just can't wait to see it. That's all.
Yeah, you can clip it later. If one of my games says the posts fall over, you can pull this one. But no, I mean, it's way better venues, way better quality of play, better coaching, better everything that goes with it. So yeah, I think you're gonna have me going back and looking at highlights from the first year to see what it looks like.
It's so fun to look back on it. Like it just comes up in my memories of travel sometimes, and it's so different, but yet so much alike. I mean, it's kind of fun to see some like yourself, some refs that are still around, and some that have retired, like Scott Green, for example, has retired, but yet you and Marquise and Chris and everybody is still around. So
Totally.
that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah. No, no, keep me in the loop next time you come out to Seattle, because you haven't been on the fun bus, bud. You haven't been on the fun bus.
There's a fun bus.
Yeah, I have. I call it the sin bin, appropriately named. And yeah, we got 10 seats up in that bad boy. They all face towards each other, so you can see and scream and holler and sing and laugh, as well as a telly up in there. So that way we always have rugby on the game. Imagine that, right? Or we do sing along karaoke and stuff too. But yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
now you're
I
talking my
snuck out a
language.
yeah, no, like, and that's the thing, like, man, all the boys are socializing. Sometimes, you refs will go and mix and mingle, not as often as I think you should, but that's opinion. But I do like sneaking you guys away after the game, be like, let's go to a pub, let's go, nobody's around, let's go have some fun and some shenanigans of our own, and then of course,
It is funny, like you obviously know this because you'll talk to us after a game. But for anybody out there who has never talked to a referee after a game, whether it's a professional game, whether it's a club game, whatever, give it a try and just talk socially. I'm willing to bet, like, yeah, I mean, refs are a little more social than you'd think. I remember when I saw guys on TV, I'm going, oh, like these are robots. They've got no personality. These must just be the most serious people possible. And then the second they get off the field and you see them in a different environment, they're rugby guys, right? Like we all started as rugby guys. We're all going to be that same person at some point in time. It's just, that when you're on the field, you've got a job to do. That's not when anybody wants the comedian to come out. That's not when anyone wants the beautiful karaoke singer to come out.
seriously, time and place. Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it'd be so funny. Like, it'd be so funny to see a personality like Clarky and just all of a sudden turn at the camera or look at you and smile or laugh at something during a game. Like that ain't gonna happen, bud.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, nay. Maybe about 2 margaritas after the game, but not until then.
exactly.
But no, it's on. Next time you come to town, just plan on, going out and playing afterwards briefly. We don't have to do it too late, especially depending on what night it is and how, when your flight is. But let's do that. Let's take that opportunity. There's a lot of good people that tend to hang out afterwards, as you've been there. I love to come in there and harass you guys after the game just to see where your head's at sometimes. Like, because at the end of the day, we're humans. And it doesn't matter if you made a mistake or not, because you're going to be your own toughest critic. Nobody needs to be going on and on after the game. I've never understood that part of sportsmanship. I never will. I just refuse to accept it, to be quite frank. Uh, People miss out on a lot of great humans and a lot of great personalities like yourself because they get hung up on that. They categorize you into one spot, one personality, like a robot or something. And that is nowhere near the reality.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's an interesting place being in a ref change room after a game, right? That if people just saw a spectacular game and didn't think about the referee at all, guarantee you, once they're back in that change room, refs are having a good time already. There's
Oh yeah.
celebrations, they're feeling good, right? You've just come off from running, you're kind of riding that runner's high, and like it's a great feeling. If it was one of those tough, contentious games, and you're feeling like you didn't necessarily have a good performance, yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a quieter room. Of course it is, much like playing when you get a win or a loss. But it can be it can be a cause for celebration, whether regardless of the outcome of the game. If the refs went, yeah, you know what, we managed that pretty well. It was a physical battle, but everybody had a good time, and we managed to stay out of the way of a great game. Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe even more so, because like sometimes, in my personal opinion, it's nice to take a break. Let's have a little pause. We've literally stressed ourselves out for the last 80 plus minutes. Uh, let's take a break. We're gonna review this eventually, like, just because I know that's what you guys do in general. Just like players, you review film, you critique each other, you grade each other, etc. A lot of people don't know that,
Yep.
but but if all else, you got to give yourself grace, because Lord knows you're going to learn from it, no matter if it's good, bad, or indifferent. And people just need to get over it. I'm trying to watch my mouth so we can let kids watch the show, but I just want to put exclamation marks sometimes out there. Like, yeah, I get pissed at, like, when I watch. I'm trying to getting all excitable like a little puppy dog wagging my tail, gonna pee all over the place. But but last time in Seattle, like, for example, like, it's not the first time I've seen refs get, booed, heckled, whatever you want to call it. And seeing you guys come out, especially you and Chris, actually, I think it was the two of you together last time, actually. And you both just had these big old grins. You're like, I think it was just like, oh my God, not everybody in the stadium hates us, for God's sake. Thank goodness. You know what I mean? But like, you're, oh, what happened? We're having technical fun today. It is what it is.
We're back.
No, I will leave it alone. I was kind of getting on a soapbox there for a minute. I'll leave it be. I made my point. It's hard not to just hit that conga the whole time. Yeah, like, I really wish people would be respectful towards the refs a little bit more than they are. I know the players do a good job, but even the players, they really need to be taught more laws, or about the details of laws, in my opinion, just to help the respect that you guys need.
Right.
Simply
Yeah,
put.
I mean, I find, like, I personally don't find a huge issue with it, and I actually find the American rugby public, and Canadian, I'll include as well, to be quite enjoyable in that way. Sure,
Good.
you might get booed on the field, right? Booing is such a just, I don't know. It's a part of it's a part of a sporting culture. Not every culture is going to do it. Not every country kind of gets behind that kind of thing. But if you're at a venue and a call goes against the home team and they boo, I'm not taking it personally here, right? That's just
Good.
part of what it is. If I'm off the field and we have a chance to talk with each other and somebody's then gonna like boo me to my face, I'm gonna go, you're a bit of a weird individual, right? But you're on the field and they just let the boos rain down. That's a bit of fun. I go watch ice hockey games here, and the call goes against my team. Yeah, maybe a boo slips out. That doesn't mean I hate referees, right?
Right. Right. No, and it's appreciated that you had that attitude, because that is you nailed it. Very well versed. So good. So good. So what are you doing when you're not reffing and teaching?
Yeah, I mean, I managed to keep myself busy, no doubt about it. Man, I feel like I had a whole pile of hobbies during COVID when we finally had time to maybe do all the things that we wanted to do. When rugby disappeared for a little while, and we went, okay, like what is there in life besides that? And so, yeah, I mean, I mentioned I was a musician, so play a few instruments and stuff. During COVID, took up a few other sports while we could sort of socially distance. So I've been playing disc golf the last few years, and that was a big passion for a little bit. It took up woodwork, and I've been building furniture for the last couple of years as well. So yeah, man, a little bit of everything.
That woodwork does not shock me by you. I don't know why, but that seems to like you're a calculated guy, and wood is not very forgiving, in my personal opinion. So, like, respect, bud, because I don't have the patience. I love it,
There
love
we
it,
go.
love it.
I don't have anything in my background I can show off. I'm like, I built these shelves. Nobody's impressed by these shelves, but that's all right.
I did see the drums in the background, so like the whole you being a musical teacher makes absolute sense now. And then, of course, telling you about how I found a picture of you in band back in the day. I probably should have like put that up on this, but like we were pretty wee back then. So let's I wouldn't do anything to you, you wouldn't do to me, kind of thing.
That's
Uh,
true. Yeah, yeah. We can bring those band geek pictures back with pride, man. It's okay to play sports and do music, you know?
right? Yeah, absolutely. I don't know that I noticed that you didn't say anything about farming.
Oh, that's true.
So
I've got a garden. I don't know about farming, but I've got a garden.
yeah, how do you feel about electric fences, buddy?
Oh
Let's
man.
let's check it out, shall
So what do I do? I grab on?
Just grab hold of it. You know what's going on.
Grab on?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh, your gumboots.
The government's on. Oh, it gave it like a little shock through here, but not much.
Gumboots.
Do I have to take them off?
Yes, you have to take them off.
Only one will do. You only need to put one foot on the ground here. Oh, fuck. It felt so easy. Oh! Woo-hoo-hoo! That's awesome.
I had to, bud. I had to. Couldn't help myself.
That's great. I have no idea where you got that from. I'm very impressed. This feels like one of those Nardwar interviews where things from the past are popping up and you don't know how. But yeah, that was oh man, what would that have been, about 10 years ago or so in New Zealand? I was down in small town New Zealand in Oamaru of all places. And yeah, shout out Nick Webster, one of the referees from there. I was on his farm, and I guess as a city boy, I didn't really know what's going on, and I asked a dumb question, which is, did the electric fences actually hurt? And all I got back was the two farmers kind of looking at each other slyly, going, "Well, give it a try, would you?" And yeah, there you go. See the evidence. So yeah, it gives a good shock.
They were nice. I mean, they could have asked you to take a boot off and pee on it. So there's that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. I'm glad it
I
involved.
mean, I've heard stories, and I'm just glad that wasn't one of them. No, Robin, I've had a great time getting to know you, man. Like, this has been a blast. Absolutely, just and especially with the truth is, like, it didn't go perfectly. We had some technical difficulties a little bit at the beginning. We had to reset this once. Not uncommon, unfortunately, with the way of our technology and these whole like, you know, your living room, my living room, and putting them together, on a on the television here.
That's
But
it.
I
It's
really
just like a
appreciate you
game of
making
rugby.
time.
It's never going to be perfect, but we'll make it work.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, I hope to get you on here again in the near future. I definitely want to reach out to some of your coworkers, if you will, and come up with a game plan on getting you guys to show your personalities, your skill sets, and like just review some footage here and there of like a call, what it was about, what happened, why it was breaking a rule, a law, whatever you want to call it today. Um, I think that insight would be very helpful for just people in general, just to see you guys work in your craft, specifically you, bud. So
Absolutely, Matt. Yeah, appreciate it. This was lots of fun. Keep me posted.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we'll stick around afterwards and finish up some loose ends. But thank you very much for your time, Robin. I appreciate it. Tell Sarah she can have you back. You do need to get to painting that house, I bet.
That's it. I know. This has been my break. I got to get back to work now.
I love it. I love it. All right. Thank you very much, sir. I'll see you sooner than later. Can't wait.
Sounds good. Thanks. See ya.
Love rugby? So does Matt. He is host of the Rugby 100 Club podcast, where Major League Rugby stars tell their stories. But it's more than a podcast, it's a passport. Rugby 100 Club builds epic fan trips to follow your team on the road. Game day tickets included. Tailgates and fan meetups? You bet. Unforgettable memories every single time. Rugby 100 Club, where fandom meets the road.